ready, Papas. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night edition of The Outer Realm with Amelia and myself.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night edition of The
What is this?
That was me. I turned the volume off, and it still went on, and I had the volume off. I am so sorry.
I'm thinking, oh my God. All right, so let's continue on. We are broadcasting live here via International Public Radio on the United Public Radio Network 105.3 FM from the beautiful city of New Orleans. This evening segment and every evening segment is sponsored by the amazing folks over at Folgers Coffee. Huge thank you to Folgers and a whole lot of love coming your way. Tonight, we welcome a very first-time guest, Dolly Safran. I really hope to say she's going to have to correct me on that because I just sound like a meathead trying to say it and not knowing. Anyway, she's going to be debuting her story for the very first time here on the Outer Realm with all of us on being an abductee, contactee, and experiencer. And what a story it is, let me tell you. She will be joined by her dear friend and our returning guest, Mr. Preston Dennett, who's actually writing a book on her story. So be prepared for an amazing journey that both of them will share with us as we move along tonight. In order to participate in tonight's show, please head over to the International Public Radio and UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials and UFO Paranormal Network on YouTube. If you want to interact a little bit quicker, go on UFO Paranormal Network, okay? Radio Network, YouTube, and tag Amelia if you have a question for our guest or anything of that nature. It is the only place that you will get our attention, where you may be able to get a written response. Otherwise, we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, and we are on all the networks' Facebook pages. We do see everything. We just may not be able to respond right away. So settle yourselves in because this is going to be one heck of a segment. So, Bubbles, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you? Hola, Andrea.
Oh, yeah.
Hi from Mexico. Like, hi.
And Jeannie, welcome. Zach,
how are you doing? I miss Mexico. Oh my God. I miss Mexico. It's my favorite country ever. And yeah, thank you for joining us. Hi, Wayne. Hi, Zach. Hi, Jeannie. Hey. Wow.
Yeah. So good show tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. I have a little bit of a tiny advantage because I know a little bit about, Dolly's story, and I know that our listeners hello.
Hi,
North Carolina.
Wow.
I have a little bit of an insider knowledge, so I feel a little bit guilty, but not really. But it's a really fascinating story, and it's taken her entire life to actually come forward with this. And I think it's a great time when you have disclosure and everything else going on. I think it's really good. Perfect timing. So before we bring them on, I mean, everybody knows Preston because we've had him on as he's just one of our faves. But do you want to maybe tell everyone a little bit about Miss Dolly?
I actually did a brief intro for both of them in case you haven't heard Preston before, and this is your first time because you're actually here. Cousin Dolly, Dolly Safran began her life journey already a generational contactee. A former nurse, civilian worker for the U.S. Department of Treasury, an employee for the Department of Defense for the U.S. Army. Preston Dennett is a published author, has well over 26 books written to date, field investigator for MUFON, ghost hunter, and paranormal researcher. Both of them joining us tonight as they are dear friends, so it's such an honor and a pleasure to have them. So we welcome Dolly and Preston.
Yeah, well, hopefully, let's see if they're in. And
I'm always ahead of schedule somehow, yet I'm always late. Figure that one out.
There's
Hi,
one.
Nice to meet you, Dolly. Hello.
How are you?
Oh, gotta do your
Can't
mic.
hear you. Oh, got to put your mic on.
Microphone.
At the bottom.
Sorry for those of you that I scratched that with your earbuds.
Oh, there's Preston's on the phone. There we go.
Preston's a busy man.
Preston,
like, again, I'm here.
I was going to say, Preston, you should be a pro at this by now.
Our third host, Preston.
Yeah, we hear you.
Dolly, can you hear me now?
Hold on, I'm trying to be back in there. Okay?
Got you.
We've got you both. Don't go anywhere. We've got you.
Yay!
Okay, she brought her own personal director.
Gang is all here. I know. I like this arrangement.
All right, Dolly, I'm hanging up the phone. Oh.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Hey. Well, welcome, Dolly, for the first time, and welcome, Preston. You were just here last week. This is a lot of fun.
I feel like I just went to bed and woke up and you're here again. Which basically, that's exactly what happened if you count last Thursday.
Yeah, pretty much.
Shoot, what is that light coming from? Hold on a second. Let me block that light.
Is it bothering you? Because it's not doing anything for us.
I think it's his window in front of him. The sun's coming down and it's blaring him.
Oh, I see. Okay. Good. Okay. Can you kick your volume up just a touch, Dolly?
Mine? I'm going to try.
Yeah, you're very soft.
That?
That's good.
Okay,
it's better. Perfect. So wait for Preston to get back and get the show on the road.
okay.
I've been looking forward to this. We've both been looking forward to this. I think everybody's been looking forward to this. So I know you're a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Fine. You're in chat a lot. You see how we do our shows. They're
Yes,
very laid back and lots of fun, right?
Okay, yes, absolutely. I enjoy it. Watching y'all.
I need your volume up a little bit, though.
Oh, you need the volume up more?
Oh, yeah. Because if I can't hear it, no one can. Everybody's going to have a problem with it. I have mine on really high. Let's hear you again.
All right. There.
Hold on. Let me mess with this.
That's perfect.
Audio. I'm making the audio bigger.
Perfect.
Hold on. Give me a second. All right.
Of course.
Now I just got to figure out how to come back to you. Hold on.
Then gone.
She'll come back.
We've lost the other half of the show.
Yeah. So, Preston, what's new since Thursday?
Yeah, what you doing?
What'd you eat? Where'd you go?
See any UFOs?
What'd you watch? Talk to any aliens?
Not recently.
No Grays visiting?
No.
She'll come back. She'll be okay. We might have to text Joe, though. Does Joe have to bring her back in?
Yeah, I think I'll have to. I will message him. I'm pretty sure he's around. Just be sure. There she is. She made it. Okay. Joe's on the job.
Hi.
There we go. You're on the other side now.
Okay.
All right. We hear you fine. So, welcome. This is the first time for you. A little nervous? Yeah.
Very. Yeah.
Yes.
So
this is a really big deal. Like,
yeah.
This has been a lifetime of experiences that have brought you to this moment.
Yeah.
So why don't you explain to everyone how you and Preston came to be before we get into your story, and that will explain why he's here.
Okay.
I mean, he's always welcome, but it's just everybody else knows.
I met Preston about almost 6 years ago in September.
Right.
And actually August. It was prior to my kidney transplant.
Right.
And I was grounded for a while because of dialysis, and my contact knew that I wanted to start speaking with people. I wanted to come out. It was a long process convincing them that this was going to happen. I'm pretty much the only one of my group that is opening her mouth already. Okay. And time is short. And so he said, okay. And I didn't know who to go to. I never watched television. I don't read UFO books or anything. I was too busy living it. And he suggested I go to YouTube and look up Preston. So I found Preston, an old thing on healing. He had longer hair and he was younger. And I saw it and I thought, okay. I was impressed with what I was hearing, and I knew he was with MUFON. And I waited about a week or so, and then I called him. And he's like the easiest human being on the earth to talk to. And we just fell into, yappity yappity, and that's how I met Preston.
Aww.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it vividly.
And so it's your job, Preston, basically to put this together in a story.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was pretty excited because at first I didn't quite realize how different Dolly's story is from a lot of people.
Right.
Pretty much everything she said I've heard from other people, but it's all been piecemeal.
Right.
Whereas Dolly has a complete narrative. She really remembers more than anyone else I've ever spoken with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it took me a while to realize just what was going on with her. She does have a chapter in one of my books,
mm-hmm.
Onboard UFO Encounters. And she's admitted freely, I haven't told you everything. And she was right. She sure hadn't.
Right. So this is an adventure. It's the next part of your journey.
Yes.
So I know you've sent a few pictures. We'll tackle it in the second part of the show because I really want to concentrate right now on your story. So Preston, feel free to jump in, at whatever point, because I mean you guys have this ongoing support system, and you've been doing this together for the last few years. So we'll just sort of cut in here and there. So why don't we start from the beginning?
Okay. When I'll give you my very first memory, and I was about 10 months old.
Wow.
And I was laying in my crib in my room. We were in living off of Biscayne Boulevard. We had just got to Miami, and my parents were looking for a place for us to live. My dad was being detached to Homestead Air Force Base, and we lived right off of Key Biscayne. We could see the water from their apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And we were up high. We were about 4 stories up. And we had those metal levelers on the windows in the house, in the apartment. And I was in my crib, and I was trying to nap, I think. And I saw this huge bright light coming through in broad daylight. I mean, brighter than I've ever, when you're a baby, you see a light, you go, whoa, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I started levitating. I started leaving my crib. And by the time I started getting to the top of the rail, I freaked out. And I flipped in midair and tried to go back down. I mean, I was desperately trying to go back down. It scared the hell out of me. And that's the last thing I remember of that. And that stuck in my head. It was so traumatic, it never left my mind, never.
Wow, that's crazy. And you're generational, right? You make mention in your bio that you're a generational. Can you explain to everybody what side of that your family this comes from and how you got to luck out?
It's my father is the person. We think my mom might have had contact, but she totally rejected everything.
Right.
My dad was a teenager with his brother in Wisconsin, and they were near one of the big forest preserves there, north of Stevens Point, near the lake. Right. And they were cooking a turkey that they had just killed from the farm, and they were camping out. The dummies didn't gut it. They didn't get the packet out of it, and it exploded and all over them. And they ran to the lake, and they were washing off, and took the turkey with them to clean it up and then gut it so they could finish cooking it. And across the lake, they saw a light, and they were staring at it. And my dad said it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it shot across the lake at them. It came over the top of their heads, and before my dad knew what was happening, he was frozen on the spot. He could not move his body at all, looking up. He saw a big blue light hit him, and he said he got taken up. His brother, he doesn't know what happened to his brother at all. He was up there for maybe 2 or 3 hours, and my dad, extremely intelligent person, and he said he had long conversations with him, and they told him he was going to have to pay attention to what he wanted to do most in life. They kind of guided him. He was already trying to be an architect at that age. He could draw anything, and that's what he did. He became an architect, but he did it vis-a-vis the hard school of my father was dyslexic. He could not go to school and learn that way, and he taught himself.
Wow.
He's the only architect in the state of Florida and most of the United States who passed all the state boards without going to college.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was in the military. He became an Airborne Ranger. He was in First Company, Korea. That's where he started at, 1950. And he met my mother in 1951 and they got married. They lived all over the place. My mom never got pregnant, though. 6 years. She was 16 when they got married. And they decided she had polycystic ovarian syndrome. And the Army, in their infinite wisdom, played games with her, and they irradiated her ovaries and her pituitary with cobalt radiation. And they gave her 3 treatments, and they told her, don't get pregnant for a year. And unfortunately, after the 3rd treatment, she got pregnant with me about a week later. Everybody was terrified the entire time she was pregnant. I was born almost at full gestation, but I weighed less than 5 pounds. They realized after I was born that I was a twin. A twin was missing. It was a big deal.
Missing.
Yeah.
I'll jump in here. That is actually a thing that turns up in a number of cases. I've talked to other people who've had that same thing. ETs love twins.
Wow.
So there's something going on there. I think this is part of their interest in genetics. But yeah, I was very interested to hear Dolly say that because I'm like, oof, I've heard this before, especially the missing twin.
Wow. So that was a trigger for you to say, yeah, we're onto something here.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
When I was about 10 months old was the first time that I remember something, but by the time I got to be 2, I found out that I had the ability to make things happen in the house. I was telekinetic. I could make things move around. I could levitate. I would go up into the top of the closets in Florida, which are really high up and hard to get into in the hallways that they were in, and I would close the door on myself and laugh my butt off. My mom would look for me like, where the hell is she, And when she found me the first time, she was like, what the hell is going on? She thought somebody was in the house. She made my dad change all the locks. They put the locks up high so I couldn't get out because I was very talented. And I still kept getting out. I would disappear. When I was almost 3, I totally disappeared. She was pregnant with my brother, heavily pregnant. My dad came home for lunch that day, and I was gone. They called the police. They were everywhere looking for me. 2 hours later, the police get a call. They drag my mom down to this it's called the U-Totem store. It's like a convenience store. Mm-hmm. It was 6 miles from the house. I had nothing on but underwear. When they got there, I was sitting on the counter with the guy, and I was pissed. And my mom's like, what is wrong? And I started crying when I saw her. And I said, I just wanted a red balloon. I'd had my tonsils taken out the year before, and they gave me a red balloon to placate me. I think ET was placating me with big red balloons, too. Because they said if I was nice, they would give me a red balloon when they dropped me off. I had nothing on my feet. I was totally barefoot. There's no way. They said, how the hell they thought I was dropped off. Because my feet would have been all torn up from walking in the dirt and the gravel and all that.
Well, they would have been black, too.
Yeah, exactly. It's Florida's sand, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, yeah.
This shows it's a physical phenomenon. People are not where they're supposed to be.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So
wow.
They decided to get a police dog retired. Her name was Heidi, and they started taking Heidi with me. I'd disappear with the dog. Then we moved away from there, and we moved out into the Everglades. Okay, way the hell out in the Everglades. We had a farm. And we ended up with German Shepherds, more of them. My mom learned to train them. We had Rhodesian Ridgebacks, which are like nursery dogs for farmers. Yes. And we had St. Bernards. And we had 6 and 8 foot fences around the house. We had automatic lighting and stuff like that. And, had a big satellite out there because my dad was working for NASA by then. And it was just interesting. I would just keep disappearing. I
this
think
is a regular occurrence then. Right.
I have no strong, seamless memory of it. I have moments. Okay. My first real moment at that time was I was 5, and I saw an umbrella coming down out of the sky. I was laying in the grass looking up, and heard music with it, playing. Sorry, I'm playing with my phone. And it came way low down over me, and it was rotating slowly. And the next thing I know, I'm waking up and I'm in some lady's lap. And I looked up at her and I was like,
that's very random.
You're different.
Where'd you come from?
Yeah. And she told me to call her Mama, okay? And that I was related to her somehow. And she was very sweet to me, and she talked to me, and she kept me calm. And I just sort of flashed back into the house after that, and I woke up in the living room on the floor. And my mom was like, "How the hell did you get in the house? I didn't see you come in." And I'm like, yeah. I don't know.
I would point out here that, the lady there, Mama, was not a normal human.
Yeah, I was going to say.
She was a tall gray, a very nice lady.
But at that age, a child doesn't really judge if someone who looks a little different.
Right.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, because how old were you at that point?
5, maybe 6, somewhere between those two ages. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
It was wild. I have a few other memories where I would be outside and I'd be, messing around the farm and stuff, and I would see a light and be gone. One time I was way back out in a field and I saw them land, and I ran. I ran for my life. They got me anyway, and I blacked out. But by the time I was 14, I was taking astronomy lessons, okay? I was going to the Miami-Dade Transit Planetarium to take my lessons. And I was out in the backyard one night. It was the weekend, and I was doing some calculations, and plotting stars and stuff. And it was about 1 a.m. My dad at the window said, "Come to bed." So I brought my scope and I packed it down and got dressed for bed. And I never sleep, okay? Never. I maybe sleep 2 hours a day. That's all.
Wow.
And so I would plots around the house at night. And I was looking out my windows. In Florida, we had those big, big jalousied windows. You could crawl out them if you wanted to. And I was just looking, and all of a sudden I saw like 100 maybe lights, and they're all moving around. And I was like, whoa, what the hell is that? And they started pairing off, and they kept going in different directions, north, south, east, west. 2 of them came down over my area. One headed toward Dadeland, east of us. And then the other one came down over our house. And it fascinated me because the tree started moving like it was in a high wind, but you couldn't hear anything. Okay. I could hear the leaves rustling, but no wind, so to speak. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, what the hell is that? What is it? Now, by the time this was happening to me, I had made a promise to myself that I was not going to go to sleep anymore, that they were not going to get away with that. Because I knew it was somebody and something, and they were knocking me out. And I was determined, so I was like looking at it really, really hard, trying to memorize it. And I looked up and I saw the portholes, and I went, uh-oh, I saw beings in it. Okay, they were like little guys, a little bit different from Mama. Okay, different, skinny. They looked surreal to me. And I was like, oh no. I thought, okay, dive under the bed at this point, run away.
That's what kids do. Sure.
And I was going to go under the bed, and this big blue white light hit me hard. Just shocked me, and I passed out. I woke up again 2-3 hours later on the floor with not the same jammies on. They were inside out and backwards. And I'm just laying there going,
The cleanup crew really needs to work on that. So,
Yeah, and I can hear my mom in the kitchen. Military people get up early in the morning, 3:30, 4 o'clock. She was cooking breakfast for my dad. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go clean up. And I got in the shower, and I took a bath, and I put on my own clothes. And I went ambling out to the kitchen, and she's still cooking, and I hear the radio is on. And it's, what's his face? I'm going to have a senior moment now. Anyway, it's just one of those guys from way back when. Anyway, so he's talking, and the news comes on. And I hear the report that, now I'm trying to talk to her already. I'm saying, Mom, did you hear anything last night? Did you see any lights? Hear any sounds? And she just turned around and looked at me, because already by then, this was taboo, okay? And he came on and he said, 2 Dadeland police officers report seeing a UFO. And they described it, and I'm sitting there going, and she turned around and she put her finger on my face and she said, no. I was like, okay, no talking about it. My father heard the whole conversation, and he told me the next day when he could talk to me privately, he said, describe it to me what happened. And I did. But I'd already remembered by then. When I went back after they all had breakfast, I went back in the bathroom. I shut the door because it was the only private place in the house. And I sat on the floor and I shut my eyes and I forced myself to remember. Okay. I went back over every second of it, and I started. Recall was really slow. It came in snatches. Okay. Mm-hmm. By that afternoon, I had the whole thing. Okay. And I realized that I was busier than I thought. I was going to school with these people, and I was leaving the planet. And I was totally freaked out. It took me about a week. My dad had to talk me into being calm about it. I was just completely freaked out. My best friend that Monday after this all happened grabbed me in the hallway and said, "You're not going to believe what we saw." I'm like, "What'd you see?" They were out on a date with her older cousin, and she said, "We got swooped by a UFO." They were near Dayland Mall. I'm like, "Really? Seriously?" She said, "It swooped the car." And I said, "What do you mean by that?" She said, "It came down and went right over the top of their heads doing Mach 9. I said, "Don't talk about it, Marine, because you're going to go to hell. They will never leave you alone. They'll think you're crazy. Shut up." So we kept it to ourselves, okay? It was after that I started getting mental, I don't know how to describe this. When somebody's knocking on your door mentally and they're trying to get your attention, mm-hmm. You can hear them talking in your head. And it was a male, and he was telling me, "I'm coming to get you. Be ready." And I didn't know what that meant. I just knew, oh yeah, it's going to happen. And so I mentally prepared for it, I guess. And they came and got me. And when I got up, they took me to the room where there is the control room, where the pilots are. Mm-hmm. And they introduced me to the ship. And it's AI. It's alive. The ship is alive. It exists. And I didn't understand it at the time, but he told me that I was going to get to know him, and everything was good. They already knew from working with me before without me really realizing that I wanted to fly. I had already made that decision about a year before without realizing it, and that they had already started working with me. And I had to be outfitted, so to speak. I have an implant in the top of my hand, my right hand, and it helps me do what I do. And I had to be tested out, They rigorously tested me out. I had to learn to acutely remote view, and I have a sort of an eidetic memory, and I was utilizing that as well. Mm-hmm. The years before that, I had been going to a place, another world, I guess, planet, and it had lower gravity than Earth, and had trees that make ours look like sticks. And we had a pavilion in one of the trees. It was huge, and all the girls were there. And further off in the forests, there was another tree with a pavilion in it, and they had boys learning over there. And I took all kinds of different classes. I learned morality, I learned philosophy, I learned mathematics, physics, mm-hmm. I learned propulsion, stuff like that. I have a very extensive, I learned astronomy, that kind of thing. It's probably why I liked astronomy so much as a kid and wanted to be an astronomer, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. My brother was gaga goo over it. And we both, that's one of our loves. Mm-hmm. As things went by, I was going more and more often. They'd come in to get me like 2 or 3 times a week, every other day or so. And I'd be gone for hours. And then I realized that I was gone longer than I was actually gone. In other words, it hit me that I could be gone a couple of days and still come back within minutes of going. And so they were somehow putting me back in time. I don't know how to explain that. It's like when you go with them and you go interdimensional, you leave space-time here as it exists. You go out, and they move in and out of dimensional space. That's how they travel long distances. That's how they do it. Okay, they physically travel hundreds of light years away, but they do it interdimensionally and go in and out of it. That's why the ships have to be so intelligent and operate the way that they do, because they work with the pilot. They become one in mind, and the pilot's running the ship and all that systems and everything. And then the pilot is actually coordinating the jump. It's a psychic thing. You don't just write it down on paper and push a bunch of dials. It's all your psychic ability to remote view and take yourself through a dimension into a space that you're mentally going through psychically. It's a lot of learning. Okay, it's a lot. None of their systems are anything like you'll ever see on this planet. Nobody can even come close to that technology. It just doesn't exist here, and it won't.
And then you have government trying to do this reverse engineering, and
right.
But how can you if it's alive?
They don't have the
they haven't mastered AI.
Yeah, they don't even have the elements. They don't exist on this planet. They don't have the ability to create, combine or manufacture what they need to run it in there. They do use a type of nuclear, but it's a very small scale, and it's elements that we don't have here. It's interesting. I
would say interesting is an interesting word.
I would go back. I would just go back a little bit and mention that when Dolly had that experience at age 14, that first one that really woke her up, there were multiple people who saw UFOs. There was a police officer near her who had a major experience, and her friend as well, which I think the ETs do on purpose to sort of provide evidence that, like, you're not losing your mind. Other people are having this experience. And I've definitely heard other people talk about how they are taught throughout their childhood and learn a wide variety of things. So it's really interesting to hear Dolly describing that same thing, as well as, psychic development. I've talked to people who've learned telekinesis and levitation sounds fantastic, but I just wrote an article about that. There are a number of I don't like that word, experiencers who have experienced levitation. So to hear Dolly say, "Oh yeah, that happened to me," I'm like, "What? You didn't tell me that."
Yeah, that's. I didn't sign up for this. Yeah, I find it interesting though. A class on morality.
Yes.
Why, knowing what you know now, why would morality be such a thing?
Because they are wide open psychic. They hear everything that's in your head. Every level of your consciousness is wide open to them and to each other. Their society has no government. They are a group of entities or peoples. And we're going to say people from here on out because I don't see them as anything else but people. Okay, who communicate instantaneously with one another. And when one knows it, everybody does. And they work together as one unit.
They're collective.
Kinda. Only it's not. They're very scientific. They are pioneers of sorts. They've been doing this eons. 280 million years worth of history that I've been taught. 280 million. In multiple galaxies. Okay, ours is not the only one. I will tell you that the Greys probably are positioned in our galaxy. That's where they're from. Okay, and it would be Orion, where they're from.
Right.
I know that there's Zeta Reticuli in our galaxy as well. Nobody comes from Andromeda. Andromeda is already screwed, and it's already coming in contact with us. You don't realize it, but it's already happening, and we are on a collision course with them, and it's not going to stop. For them, it's almost a matter of time in their thinking. We're looking at thousands and thousands of years in the future, but we're already plasma taught. The dust in space is already touching Andromeda. They're touching us. So yeah, they're very, very good at what they do. They seed and plant different worlds, and they spread their society, their civilization far and wide. We are their children. And we are the children of many of them. We have many different types of people who live here, many different ethnicities. We're all human beings as well as they are. We're the human genotype. but we express out genetically differently. We dial up differently. We're just different colors and different sizes and shapes. Okay. When you look at the ET community at large, that's the same thing going on. You'll see some that are 13 feet tall and look like little, mantids. Okay.
Right.
You see some that have, they look like cats. Some look like dogs, like raw. Okay. For real raw. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Some have gray skin, some have bluish skin, some are 3 feet tall, and some are 8 feet tall, and taller than that, 15. But they're all the human genotype, and they all express DNA exactly like we do. It just dials up differently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In the course of understanding how they think and what they know about one another, you can't lie. Lying is impossible. If you lie, they know it, and their society has become very moral as a result.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't treat each other the way we do. When I was being raised, if I did something wrong, I would get the dead face, like, hey, look at me. And I would
evil eye, parental eye, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, what did
Right.
I just do? I did something wrong, and they give me a chance to figure it out. And then I had to figure out how to alter my behavior and make amends, or, I had to work on myself that way. It is natural for me to do that now. I don't, if I do something, I make a faux pas, even here, because I judge nobody, okay?
Right.
We're all together. We're all one, okay? All of us. We exist in real time somewhere else in source, okay? We are physically manifest in this particular construct, okay? This dimension. We are in the third and the fourth dimension. Someone sliding around between the two. In our physical space, there are 11 other dimensions, or 12 total.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Every single galaxy space, physical space, has 12 dimensions in it. Now, there are multiple paradigms going on because there are alt dimensions within dimensions, or not outside the side. There are also alt galaxies with alt dimensions in them. It is an ongoing forever thing, and there's really no way to know how many are here. Mm-hmm. You manifest in more than one dimension at the same time. In source, you're operating a whole bunch of different ways, okay? You only know what's going on with this one.
Right.
Okay?
Right. So basically, it's like your essence is just simultaneously existing in several different parallel dimensions.
Right.
At the same time, within the same space.
Right. How we see energy is really important. Like, if you're going to use your psychic abilities, what happens when you develop is that you start to see energy for what it really is. Mm-hmm. Like, when I look at you, I don't just see your physical form, I see your energy as well. Okay? I see what's surrounding you.
Mine must be black.
No, you're not. Not at all.
It's sarcastic. Just trying to lighten up the moment just a little bit.
No, you have one of the bluest auras I've ever seen on a human being ever.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You have multiple colors all around you. Everybody does. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody
has just like one layer, and however you're feeling physically manifests out into your aura too. You can tell if somebody's sick or whatever, or pregnant. Even I can see an aura around your belly. I know when you're pregnant before you even show, and I can hear your baby. Okay, babies talk.
I love that. I love babies.
Yeah. ET loves to talk to the babies before they're born. When I got pregnant with my daughter, Emmy, she immediately started yapping with me. I knew she was there. She let me know right away. And I spent the whole 9 months with her just having a good time. She knew who I was. She could talk early. I mean, there's so many cool things that we as a society could be doing right now if we just let all this stuff happen and we quit being slaves to somebody else, The other thing about ETs, or the people, star people, is that they are autonomous beings. Everybody has the right to their autonomy, their own decisions, okay? And you can either make them singularly as individuals, or you can make them in groups, but it's still your autonomy. They do not interfere with our society because of that. They gave us a place to go. We're here. They watch over us, but they interfere not. It's not up to them to tell us how to live. And they're watching crazy go on here right now.
I was going to say, like, if you ask for an intervention,
they will sometimes intervene. It just depends. they'll intervene more if they're working with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that they've heard people in agony and pain, and they've swooped in and done something because it's not in their nature to ignore. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting to know. Yeah.
Yeah. They're
That's
very
good.
loving. They don't show emotion, and there's a reason why. Most people don't understand it here because you haven't been allowed to develop the way you should. Responsibility is a big emotional leveler. Okay.
Mm.
And when you're doing the responsible thing, or when you're acting with authority, true authority, real authority, you're not going to like show everybody what's on your card palette. Okay. You're going to stay calm. You're going to do what's needed, and you're going to do it as lovingly as you can. But life isn't easy. It hurts sometimes, and they have to be level-headed always. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're
If
not
they're
exactly
all
that.
telepathic. If they're all
Very much so.
telepathic, you
Yeah.
yeah, and you're a collective, you're working together, so you wouldn't be emotional because you know that you're all together.
You know what's going on, right?
It's
Now, in the
knowing,
face
yeah.
of right, in the face of working with all the humans here, they're picking up everything that you're thinking, and it assails them. Oh my God! And a lot of times you'll see, I don't know if you have, but you'll see an ET look at you like, wow. I mean, they'll drop their jaw staring at you. And it's not that they're emotionless, they're just trying to give you time to work it out. They're waiting for you to get over yourself so they can do something with you.
Yeah, like, did you just seriously say that?
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
can't even
That's
imagine.
exactly how it goes. Sometimes we go off the deep end and attack them, and they have to, they're not going to fight you back. Preston has probably never heard of an instance where ET has physically attacked anybody in retaliation for being hit or killed.
No, not unless it's Hollywood. No, you're right about that.
No, people will hit them, but they don't hit you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They take
Preston
whatever
was
we dish out.
talking about that. Preston was mentioning that last week, and I found that really interesting. Do they pick and choose who they visit, who they contact, or is this something that's written years and years and years back?
It literally has to do with your ability to hear them and to reach out for the knowledge that that they're trying to teach you. If you're going to ignore them and be totally absorbed in BS, I guess is the best way to put that, things that aren't real, not tangible, they have a hard time communicating with you. It's really hard to talk to somebody who doesn't want to talk to you. And that goes on here a lot. Fear is the number one reason they have a hard time talking to people in total fear. They would rather you not, and they would rather you learn not to be afraid of them. They go to extremes sometimes to teach you not to be afraid of them. And I'll give you a good example. As a nurse, I've had patients look at me and call me every name in the book. If you come after them, you got to put a needle in them or whatever. I've been threatened. I've been hit, kicked, bit, spit on, you name it. Okay?
Yeah, definitely.
They look at me like I am a monster, and they will talk about you. That damn, blah, 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 blah. ET takes the same heat they do because they're only trying to help us, and you don't understand what they're doing to you. After they've worked with you for a while, some people get it, and they start to pick up the psychic connection, and they start to hear it, and it changes their whole perspective of contact, and they let them wake up a little bit more here and there, and they try to let you completely wake up. That's the goal. They want everybody on this planet to wake up. They want us all to reach out. They want us all to use our own ability to hear the truth. Okay? They want us to seek knowledge. They want us to know what the hell's going on. Really know. You can't believe gossip. You can't believe people who have ulterior motives. Okay? They're just never going to tell you the truth. We all have example A of that right now. Okay? So the message that I give everybody that I talk to is literally, you want to wake up, you got a third eye in there, you got a pineal gland, and that's your telephone call to them. Okay? That's your telephone call to everybody else on this planet. People talk about being psychic all the time. Oh, I knew that song was going to be on, or I was thinking about you and you called me. That's your psychic ability right there. And you can develop it even as late as 60 years of age. Everybody can do it, but you have to be willing to decide for yourself that you're going to do it.
I have a question for you, if it's okay, Dolly. There's someone in chat in Facebook. I'm sorry it took this long, James Chapman, but I don't normally catch the Facebook ones. I'm going to paraphrase this because it's very long. Basically, and it's not basic, I'm just trying to make this shorter. He has abilities and he wants to turn them off. because he's basically, he sounds to me like a physical medium to me.
He's overwhelmed.
Can someone, if they don't want that ability, is there a way of saying, no, I can't have this gift right now?
I would make the suggestion that he learn how to find his own space in his abilities. In other words, he needs to learn to surround himself and turn it off himself. Okay, he can. Okay, yeah. But it's never going to go away. Once you open that channel, it's always on. But he needs to learn how to control himself, because he's the one who's reacting to it. Okay, it isn't what everybody else is doing to him. If he's thinking like a victim, he will be a victim. And he has to learn to control himself, because you can turn the volume up and down as well. I mean, trust me, I would be a nutball if I didn't think that way.
Thank you for saying that, because a lot of people don't realize that by grounding and meditating and finding that center, and grounding is so important, right. James, to ground. It's huge. And your fear is going to make it a lot crazier than it really is. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for that. You're welcome. We've been so conditioned in this world to let everything get to us, and to look for the easy way around things, and to not exercise our own authority over ourselves. Okay. We're always letting somebody else tell us what to do. We're always bound down and acquiescing to others, and we shouldn't do that. Every one of us has the right to be and think who we are. And you have the right to learn at your own pace and learn what you want to learn. Each of us is born with an ability or in a gift. And if you're not developing it, you'll never be happy. And the only way you're going to do that is to step off the slave train and stop letting people bombard you with unbelievable amounts of energy that you don't need to have coming at you. And I'll give you the 3 biggies, okay? Fear is number 1. Noise that is contrary to centering your mind. It's static noise. It's noise with no purpose whatsoever. We have a lot of that going on. And then the other one is visual attacks. And our television, our games, all of that visually attack our minds that we can't think straight. And things come at us, and we just have no way of centering and seeing what's really going on. If you're going to live in a dream world, you're never going to see what's really going on around you at all.
There's a lot to be said about being at one with nature.
Right.
So James is empathic also then. It is the pain that he feels from it. That's a tough one, picking up on how people died of their pain. And it's
he can do 3 things right off the bat to help himself. He needs to detox his body, okay? Because it's part of his problem. He's not using his total ability because he's being cut off by what's entering him physically. One of the reasons that they want us to clean the bloody planet up is so that we can detox ourselves, so that we do use our abilities properly. We're very specific instruments of purpose for our mind, our astral projected bodies that live in us. We're indwelt by them. And if you're poisoned, it's really hard, to contact. Your physical mind is not who you are. Your physical mind is the vehicle you get in every day, okay? Or you're already there. You live like a camper, okay? Your astral mind is the mind that's projected from source, where we all live, okay? It can't communicate with your brain if your brain is messed up and the connection's being totally destroyed by pollution and all kinds of stupid stuff. Bad language, bad water, bad air, you name it. It can really mess up the telephone call that you're trying to make to yourself. That's what it means to wake up. So I suggest everybody, get with the program and clean up. It is very important. I am a conservationist. They are conservationists. They don't overuse anything. I mean, the suits that you see them wearing, it's one-use suit. It's totally destroyed after that. And it's made out of materials that are recycled back into other suits. Okay? They don't do laundry, period. Okay?
It's not of importance. What are some of the signs that people can look for in awakening if they feel like, oh, I think I am? But what are clear signs? Smack you on the head signs, because that's the kind of generation we have today.
Okay, the first one is your ability to sense when things are about to happen. Okay, you get the, the hair stands up on the back of your neck. You get that feeling in your gut. Your brain's going, this is not quite right. Okay, that's when you need to pay the most attention to what's around you. You need to stop, be very quiet, center, look, critically look, quietly look at what's really happening to you. Missing time is another biggie, big one. Having lights and then animals suddenly do weird things around you. Okay. Most experiences are animal attractors. You want to know why? Because they can hear us thinking. They know we're safe, and they will come to us for help. We are their first. Oh, I'm in trouble. I know you. You got a sign over your head. There it is. Okay.
Right.
Here I am. Help me. That's another thing. If animals start talking to you all the time, you're an experiencer. You're learning how to be. One of the most important things that people don't understand is that ETs are not artificial experiencers of any kind. Yes, they travel and craft, but they mostly live on very, very beautiful, very natural places. And they experience nature just like we do. They are elementals. That's where we get it from. That is bred into us. They experience nature as if they can feel it. You know that, okay? You understand that the water that you touch has been experiencing happy things or bad things. And you won't drink bad water, but you'll drink good water, okay? You know the difference. It's innate ability talking to you. You know when you walk into an area of forest and whether it's healthy or not, and whether it needs help. I was just in Arizona and Nevada, and all I wanted to do is go buy seeds and plant trees. I was like, oh my God, what are people doing? This is pretty, but it's not. Fix this. They cut it all down. Oh my God. They've changed the essence of where they live. It's not a healthy thing to be doing to yourself. They're using water that doesn't belong to them. They've got to cut a river in and doing weird things with it, and they just changed the whole, everything. They're cutting down the Amazon. They're cutting down. I mean, it's a nightmare.
It's affecting all the animals.
I would underline everything Dolly's saying. Every experiencer I've talked to is huge connection to animals. They're all environmentalists. They're all super psychic. I mean, this is definitely, I think, a pattern that's really strong with experiencers. I hear it over and over and over again, and hearing Dolly's animal stories are just mind-blowing because it's just amazing to me how strong she is with this connection. And I'm like, yep, heard this before, heard it a million times. It's definitely a question I always ask people now, like, how are you with animals?
I think animals in nature, like I hate seeing trees get cut down. It hurts my soul, I don't like to see that at all.
It. Absolutely. Their energy changes drastically and you pick it up. You can't help it. It's an assault.
Always try to heal them first.
Exactly.
One of the most interesting things for me about Dolly's story is something I've heard from a number of people, but not to the extent that Dolly has talked about it, which is being taken to the control room, sat in the chair, and taught how to fly the craft.
That's a big one. I don't think I've ever heard that.
Tell us about that, because I have never heard in all my years of radio have I ever heard anyone say that.
I hear it a lot. I've got several cases in the book Dolly's in. But hers is boy. Go Dolly.
As an Airborne Ranger, my father was also a glider pilot. And he loved to fly, and he worked for NASA. We know lots of astronauts and pilots, and so I've flown in everything you could possibly imagine. Okay, I want to fly.
Exciting. Okay? I love flying.
So when I got taken to the control room, they let me sit in the seat, and they have different controls for different situations. Okay, a pilot that's going interdimensional uses different abilities and control type things than a regular. Somebody's been given a joystick to fly, but they gave it to me, and I was like, "Oh, where are we going?" They said, "Well, just come on, let's go." And they told me, he kind of pointed. He opened the screen, so we call them drop. It's drop screen, but they open the walls. You can see right through them. And he said, "We're going to go see something." And I said, "Okay, where are we going?" And he's like, "Well, let's go see some planets." Okay, and we headed out, and I got to see Saturn first. For some reason, Saturn's a big deal, and I think it has to do with the rings, the moons, and the way gravity works. in this configuration for this particular planet. It's also tilt. Okay, Saturn's not exactly like everything else. It tilts. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to go so bad. And when I saw it and I got there, he said, we're going to go through the rings. But it was very specific. I had to pick the right path. And he made me look at it. He made me critically eyeball it and see what I was looking at and go above and below and see what the topography of each of those rings was. Some of them were dust and it was safe to fly through them. And there were spaces in between some of them that had nothing in them, just clear space. And I got to go in and out of the rings a few times. And I was hooked. That was it. I was done. Bake me now, and I'm done. And then they took me to the moon, and I got to see the moon. I went all the way around it. I got to see everything there, and we did a landing. And we were sitting down, and everybody got quiet, and they're all looking at me like they're waiting for me to say something. And I realized they were looking for me to give them permission to let me. I wanted to go. It was me. I had to decide. They weren't going to tell me I was going to do this. I had to decide. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I did. I was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm good. I want to fly. And that meant I had to agree to do everything I was taught and to learn it the best I could. And there's a lot involved with that. And you give up a lot, but then what you gain from it is incredible.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a really huge amount of trust that they're giving you.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
that's really impressive.
Some of us learn our lessons well, and I was one of those kids. Preston's like that. He has that ability. Okay, you probably want to fly.
I'm ready. Yeah.
Let's do it.
I've talked to other people who've had this. Jay Gardner. He talked about they took him to Saturn. This happened to Leo Sprinkle. This happened to Ray Fowler. They're very prominent investigators. This is not unusual. I mean, it may sound fantastic, but this happens over and over and over again to experiencers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anybody wants to go sit in the seat, they will let you. They'll take you on a tour of the whole thing. They'll let you just pick where you want to go on board, and they'll let you walk around. This is trust building for them as well as for us. This is how they bring experiencers out of the fear mode and realize that they're giving you the keys to the kingdom. They're showing you that they're trustworthy and that they don't want you to fear them in any way, shape, or form. And they do that by showing you absolute love, period. Okay.
So what do you say to people who have, and this is a question that I've asked Preston also, what do you say to people who end up with all these horrific tales? Is it their own fear, or is it what is up with all these medical examinations? Is it like their lab rat story? Like, I've been probed. Well, they'll probe your dog too if they're trying to get their temperature. And I don't mean to be sounding insensitive, but maybe is there something more to this?
It's a huge, I don't want to say story. It's not really a story. It's what's happening to our lives right now. Our magnetic poles are on excursion, and our magnetosphere is down. And we are being hit by gamma radiation that is causing cancer, it's causing asthma, it is causing our minds to be mixed up and mental issues starting with people. It causes our DNA to break down, and we are physically under attack by this. And the physical examinations are literally them keeping up with us and helping us every step of the way to keep us from going completely down, if they can help us ultimately. Okay.
I imagine especially their contactees or their people. Right.
If you're, I know a couple people who had cancer that were absolutely cured of it, and they're not a contactee. And I've asked the question, how come? And it's because, why not? Why would we let this person suffer like that? Some people they can't help, and that's karma. I know that there are issues with karma. I have karma, but I've been helped my whole life with things that I have. I took a big hit from my mother's radiation. I have had thyroid cancer, I've had breast cancer. I had a pheochromocytoma that they absolutely healed outright. Had to, it would have killed me. I've had injuries you wouldn't believe. I've had just things happen to me. I tore my rotator cuff, and I already had a broken ankle when I did it, and I was miserable, and they healed it overnight. It's like, no, you can't have this. And they fixed it. Go ahead.
No, sorry. Thank you, Dolly. How do your doctors react when they see you one day because they're treating you for a broken ankle, and then all of a sudden she's walking. There's nothing wrong. I
Yeah.
don't need to come in for a checkup.
I've had so many doctors freak out. Okay, I mean just freak the hell out because I'm a super healer. I heal very fast. And when my neck was broken, I didn't wear the
What? Say it again.
Yeah, I broke my neck.
It's not when you're talking about a broken ankle here.
Broken neck, and you're here to tell us about it. Hold on a second.
Can you see it? Wait a minute. Can you see my neck? See the scar?
Yes. Yeah.
I've never known of anyone to survive a broken neck.
It's pretty damn bad too. It zigzagged. It slid. The bone slid sideways, and it totally Z'd my spine. And I didn't know. It was bad. They thought I was going to be paralyzed for real. They haloed me as fast as I could, and I was told flat out I was probably never going to walk again. And the surgeon told me afterwards that somebody was operating with him, that he did not. There's no way he did what he did. And I only wore the collar for about 4 days. I hated it, and I took it off. And they stitch it all back together, and then they roll your skin, and then they staple that. And I pulled off the staples out after a week, and I was just walking around without the collar. And I went to see him at 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and I walked in the door, and he went into shock. It's like, oh, you have the collar off. What are you doing? And he floor scoped me at that point because he thought I damaged myself. Yeah. I'm fused. I should not be able to move my neck properly, and I can go down, and I can go to the sides, and I can go all the way back. And I'm fused.
That's insanity.
Yeah, he doesn't know how I'm doing it.
We have a really good question in the chat room from Wayne Mellows. Could the bad experiences actually be something that is carried out by various governments hiding as alien in order to push the fear of the being contacted by the true ETs?
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry.
Bam.
The government does.
That's a good
government
question.
does pull people into experimental hell, and they make them think they're being attacked by ETs. It's part of a big thing. And I'm very careful when I hear people talking, because I want to try to hear which way this experience is really happening. And then I will tap you. I don't go into your head as a courtesy, because nobody here is used to it, and it's kind of an invasion of your privacy, and I won't do it. But some people, when they're talking to me about their experiences, I will tap them at that point and try to hear what's coming out of their head and see what they're seeing, and when they talk about it. And yes, I have seen that people are being attacked by the government, black ops. And
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of those stories around the chips and stuff like that. That's another thing I wanted to ask you before I forget. You said you have a chip in the top of your hand. Is that visible by any of our technology here on Earth?
Yeah, it's Preston's seen it. It's hard to show you on this camera. Okay, I've sent him pictures of it, and he's actually felt it. It's sitting. It's in a crown of bone. It's actually a round thing, and it's got another long thing. It looks like an ankh. Okay, in the top of my hand, and it is stops me from being. It does a couple of things. It stops me from being electrocuted when I'm doing what I'm doing, but it also is the key to make it magnetically turns on what I have to turn on to operate a shift dimension. And what it is there's a ball. It's a very hard to explain to you. I could not teach you this. Okay.
That's okay.
But it's a ball that it when it's energized, it expands. It gets bigger, and it actually becomes see-through. You can see energy in it. Okay. And I use that ball to go interdimensional. I throw my consciousness into it. I remote view to it, and the ship is also in it. He remotes into it, and we become one person, and we go where we need to go. And I know what he's doing, and he knows what I'm doing, seamlessly and simultaneously. It is a cooperative mating of sorts of the minds to operate that ship, which is absolutely alive, absolutely. And
that's your energy. Your physical body stays back.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. And the technology is old. It goes all the way even back. The Egyptians have hieroglyphs of it. I've pointed that out to Preston. I've shown him where every hieroglyph is that absolutely points to how that operates. Okay. And he's like, I don't know how if the archaeologists aren't telling you the truth, they ought to be
They're
Call
not
out.
going to tell you. They're not
Yeah,
going to tell you anything.
Because the little purse, that ball is in the little purse. It's about the
but
size of a golf ball.
the purse that funds those archaeologists comes from the elite, and that's a whole other show.
Yeah,
That's a whole other show.
those are all
it's about
pilots.
suppression, right? We know that.
Exactly.
It's about not being able to develop to our full
But
potential.
it's not just the Egyptians doing it. It's, the
everywhere.
Incans, it's the Mayans, all of them. They all had that technology. They all understood how it worked. They had pilots even for them.
How did we lose that technology, and why?
Because
Does
some
anybody know?
idiot, they decided to make slaves out of us. And they started stopping us from learning anything. They cut you off from all knowledge. I mean, can you imagine going to school nowadays? When my daughter was in school, I didn't helicopter pilot, but I wanted to be around her, when she was in school. So I substituted taught, and I drove a school bus for a while too. And I was shocked at what they don't learn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's repetitive, stupid, and boring, And you don't learn anything in school.
Sorry, I volunteered almost 30 hours a week.
Oh my God. Okay, way more than me.
Talk about helicopter parenting.
Yeah.
That is
it was
so
difficult.
Somebody put it like desktop and said we're gonna make a slave race out of this, and
right. It's in your TV, the media, they all control you. They control everybody. You want to know where fear comes from? Watch TV for an hour and tell me you're not afraid of something at the end of it. Okay?
Yeah.
Totally amazed. Every time somebody in government comes on, I turn it off. I don't want to hear it because it's all BS, all of it. It's a show.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's like, the scare tactic. All of disclosure has been a scare tactic.
They want you running like a afraid herd.
Look what we see. It's, hey, we're being chased. We're under attack. They're just swarming the boats. You're just like, oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Yeah. So here's a question. The Dark Fleet. You've been up there. Is there a Dark Fleet? Do we have? Does the world have their own fleet?
Yes, I'll give you the first one that's everybody's seeing all the time. It's the TR-3Bs. Okay, they're anti-grav. They cannot move like ET technology because they don't have the same power. Okay, but they do move. Mm-hmm. They're armed with laser cannons. They're crowd controllers, and you don't want to see one in the sky one day coming after you. Okay, you just don't. They have another type that's rectangular looking. They have one that's almost like a 6-pointed star. They've built different sizes and shapes. They have the ability to throw 7D holographics at you to make you think you're seeing things that are not there. They have the ability to psychically contact you. I have that technology for sure. They have the ability to send microwave transmissions at your brain, which just happened. I'm bringing that up for a reason. Okay, they can hurt you with that. They can absolutely hurt you with that.
I'm thinking 5G.
Yeah, it's not a happy thing. Yeah, I have earbuds in my ears. They're hearing aids that are earbuds. When you're in the Army and you're around tanks and bombs and stuff all the time, it kind of makes your hearing go. And so it's kind of cool that the technology for these helps me to hear you on the phone right now. Okay, I Bluetooth everything. Funny thing, I don't need hearing on the ship because I'm psychic and I'm hearing everything psychically.
Everything's telepathic.
Right. I almost don't need my eyesight either. Right. I'll tell you a secret about ETs. Most of them, the grays, are all mostly blue or green-eyed or blue-green-eyed. Okay. The lenses that you see over their eyes is because they see ultraviolet radiation, and they also see what's the other side of ultraviolet? I'm going to have another senior moment.
Infrared.
Infrared. Thank you. Yeah. And our light is so bright that they have to guard themselves. I actually have some of that genetics in me, and I had my cataracts done early in life because it just blew my retinas. My cataracts all to hell and gone. So I've got lenses in my eyes. Yeah, but I don't really need to see
daylight, blue light. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, That's just one of the faux pas. But when you see the dark eye, you need to really look in their eye. You can actually see an iris. You know, you can see their pupil dilating or retracting. You know, they don't have hair in their eyelids. They have little bumps, like where your hair follicles are. They have little teeny bumps right there. If you really look at it, it's like little pearls going across their eyelids, you know, at the top and the bottom. They feel like hairless cats, most of them, the grays. They have no no hair.
So they evolved the razor, did they?
I don't know. I think it has more to do with DNA and gamma radiation damage to their DNA.
Oh,
I would say that the
because they're
skin
trying to
feels
breed
like,
it out.
like a dolphin, you know, like a
Say
dolphin
again?
skin. To me,
Yeah.
the skin feels a bit like a dolphin.
Yeah, they can. Some of them have that like that. They've been for years now intermixing back with humans, okay, to bring their DNA back. For a long time, they weren't having babies of their own. They are now again. They are producing children of their own.
That's
But
nice.
they're strengthening us as well as themselves because we're breaking down too with the gamma that's hitting us. This is a bad situation we're in, and it isn't going to get better. It's going to get worse. It's going to be a dramatic change and sudden. That's what everybody feels psychically right now. All the people who are waking up know something's coming. They feel it, but they're not sure what it is. And the bloody governments and the world, the people that don't want you to know, are working overtime to stop you from knowing what's going on.
It feels like it's like a double-sided coin for sure. You know, you have some people who, I mean, there's division. You see some people dropping off from your life, and they just stop, and then you see others come into your life who are more like-minded. And I always say, you know, like, you know, Wayne talked, and I talked about this earlier, that these are just makes it easier to keep moving on and evolving, because not everyone can follow along on the journey.
Right. It's an individual thing. That's right. We're all walking our own road. That's how karma works. We do recycle. I mean, when we die, we come back, you know, and whatever your energy level is, you're resonating at your mind. I want to tell you the most important thing. Okay. I learned this. This is one of the first things I learned. When you learn something, you own it. It becomes part of who you are. Okay. And I'll give you a corollary. Jesus Christ said, put your white robes on. That's knowledge, okay? He's telling you literally learn and wear it, because it's the only thing you take with you when you leave here, okay? And that's what karma is. That's how we bust through that. That's how we walk away from that karma. If you're going to wear the white robe, you're done. You fixed it. You're ready to move on to whatever next level you're going to. It is sad because there are people walking blind right now who have no clue that they can actually do that they'll feel better, be happier, and move up, you know, but it's them that has to do it. Every individual in existence has to learn this way. That's why we come here. This is the reason. Physical in source, we don't learn the same lessons in source that we do in a physical realm. That's why there are physical realms. This is how the universe operates. They send us out, we learn what we got to learn, and we take it back. And we're ready to evolve higher up even from there. There are higher realms than that. And it's just a process. That's all it is. It's simple. I mean, what's the simplest explanation is a lot of times the right one. And this is the right one. I promise you. Life is hard. Life is painful. Life is fun. Life is happiness and joy. Okay, we have a lot of all of that operating. Okay?
That's difficult because we're very conditioned from very early on through, you know, religion and education.
Right. I know.
Right.
I know. Jesus Christ was an anointed master. Okay, there are many of them, and he was exceptional when he was here. He was trying very, very hard for people to hear the truth. Okay, and they even bastardized a lot of what he said too, and made us believe that God was a guy with a big stick and he'd throw you into hell. Okay.
Something about those 10 Commandments, you know.
Yeah, this is a good important point Dolly's making, because ETs don't have religion like we do.
No. They believe. They believe. How do I put this? The universe is the all mind to them. Everything is known in the universe. Okay, and it can talk to you. You can have a relationship with it. You can download from it. All knowledge is always there. Everything you say and do is added into that. All of it. They're huge current sheets of electromagnetism, and they record everything you say and do, and have done so from the beginning of time, whatever that is. Okay.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I think the perfect experiment into this universal collective is saying a word that you haven't heard in a millennia. Like, let's say the word swell. All of a sudden, everybody you know in that week is saying swell.
Sure,
You're like,
right.
What the hell is that about?
Because we're transmitting it out.
I know. Yeah, right. It's just like putting out that intention, or that one word, or an event, and all of a sudden you just, it's just a random thing.
Right.
But
there's an organization that I love. It's the Worldwide Consciousness Group. Okay, and every weekend they spend an hour or 2 hours in consciousness with one another, spreading the message, the truth. Okay, and they put huge amounts of positive intention into it, and I participate every weekend. Why not? Okay, and in my mind, you can move mountains with that kind of ability. Okay, if we all did it at the same time, this earth would turn on a dime, literally. Okay, you would see things suddenly just stop being bad. You would see people not able to lie anymore to you, okay, or anybody else. It would be phenomenal what we could do with that. And the horror to me, this is the hard part for me to live with every day, is that I know what it's like to live in a society with that. I know what we could be doing, and I wish it for here so bad. Okay, every day. I wish it for here. I intend for it to be here, because we deserve to be the beings that we could be. We deserve it.
Full potential. Sponsor time.
Sponsor time, and then I've got a quick question for you from the chat room, because poor Wayne's been waiting there for this one.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. You are listening to The Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and myself, Amelia Pisano. Tonight we have two amazing guests with us. We have the amazing Dolly Safran, and we hope she's going to be reoccurring, just like our other guest tonight, Preston Dennett, literally with us just the last show, because we love him that much. We do. It's been an amazing night talking about contactees and aliens. And if you haven't heard us and you're just tuning in now, don't worry. The archive will be up later. We are UFO Paranormal Radio. We are also God's UFOs, extraterrestrials, something like that, paranormal, United Paranormal Talk Radio. Something like that, uprntalkradio.com. There are so many. We are most importantly coming to you live from New Orleans, 105.3 FM, and the best of the best. Folgers Coffee is our sponsor. Thank you so much, Folgers, for sponsoring us fully every Wednesday and Thursday night. Wow, I get lost on all of those paranormal pages that we have. But anyways, Wayne asked earlier on, Dolly, does the electric lighting here bother their eyes too, or is it just sunlight?
Yeah, it does. If you have like fluorescent lighting, it's going to eat them. They don't like it. They'll wear their lenses. They prefer very low ambient light, natural light. They don't like the ultraviolet, UVA, UVB, and the UVC. They don't like it at all.
No, we've got that here. Turn the lights off. Yeah. Most of the house is dark for the longest time.
Yeah. They see much better in that light. They'll take their lenses out just so they can walk around in the dark. They're happy about it. They see much more detail than we do in the dark because they see ultraviolet light. It's it's a whole nother world for them. And everything's lit up. And can you imagine having that lighting up? Remember that movie Avatar where they had all that ultraviolet light and they could see it at night? Well, it's like that for them naturally. They don't need phosphorescence to do it. Yeah. They see it.
It would be like wearing night vision during
kind of sort of only in color.
Definitely painful. That's painful. Wow.
So what you've spent a good part of your life with these beings, and they seem exceptional just from personal experiences, but what do they say about the future? What is it they want us to understand? Because apparently we don't get it. There's a little bit of a language thing going on or something.
You've been made to react a certain way right now because your fear is very handy to the world governments. The 1% the elite that think that they know more than anybody else and they're better than anybody else has been for the last 80 years preparing to go underground. They have underground facilities all over the planet. They think they're going to survive what's coming. It's a 16,000 year cycle. We have scientists here and teachers here who are teaching this, and they're being shut up. They're being denied to give that information out. We're in a cycle right now where our sun is heating up. It's going to be a very, very active, unfortunate sun season for us right now. And we're starting to throw CMEs, significant CMEs, in that while our magnetosphere is down, a Class C CME could fry every electrical component on this planet in a second, 10 feet deep, 10 miles deep into the ground. And they know one's coming that's going to do that. And it's coming soon. And if you're going to talk about going back to the Stone Age, here you go. And their hope is that y'all realize it, that you get out of electrified houses, you build off-grid. Okay, don't worry about solar, learn how to do it the hard way, because you are going to go back to the Stone Age. And if you live in a house with electricity, it will burn straight to the ground, period. Okay, this has happened before, many times. Go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. How do they feel about you talking to us about all of this? This is something that they want
Dolly's
to
disclosure. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I feel about Dolly's disclosure?
I'm very passionate about it. This is my autonomy here. Okay, this is my need. I'm human, just like you are. I may have some extra stuff going on. I'm a hybrid. Okay, but I am very much human, just like you. I live here. I breathe the same air, and you are my people. Okay, we're all people together, and I love who we are, and I see our potential. And I'll be damned if we all go through this stupid, ignorant, and shocked when it hits. Okay, it's not fair. It's not right. And yes, they know I'm very passionate about it. And yes, they've watched me get more passionate in the last 10 years of my life. So much so that I'm here now talking to you. I'm not going to stop. I am watched. I have surveillance 24/7 in my life. And I think it's hysterical, and I don't care. Go ahead, make my day. Don't care. Y'all,
so this is just kind of like a bit of a shot. Like I just went and told the world. So there.
Yeah, no, they know it's coming. They've been listening to me. They know it's going to come out today. Some interesting things are going on around me because of it. Yeah. And, you know, it's
I watched it happen when we went to the UFO MegaCon together. The surveillance came right up to our little B&B there.
Wow, really?
I'm like, Dolly, who's that? She's like, oh, those are my guys. They watch over me. Sorry.
At least you know you have security everywhere you go. You'll never get mugged. There's, it's always
this is not security. No, that's Black Ops for me. Yeah.
They're not going to let anything happen to you.
Well, they tried. They've tried a couple times.
You're too valuable to them.
My contact let them know in certain times about 7 months ago now, that no, you get too close to me and you will regret it instantly. And he let them know in the strictest possible terms. Their car got EMP'd and it went up. And they had like 6 agents out there, and they had flashlights, and they're running around like monkeys. And I was like, oh my God, until I was up in the speaking to me going, yeah, they just went too far this time. Needed some reminding. So I'm not afraid of them. I've almost been abducted a couple times by him, and I've, had things happen. So yeah, I'm not afraid. And what's going to happen? I die. Oh, well, I'll just move on. That's the whole point.
This is not uncommon. A lot of experiencers are under constant surveillance. They will have their hypnosis tapes or whatever stolen, their notes. They're constantly eavesdropped upon, phones tapping. These are not nice guys who are.
But why? I mean, you think they could get their own dang information? They know more than most.
They're terrified that I'm going to be listened to. They're terrified that my message will make sense to enough people and it'll start spreading far and wide. They don't want to lose total control, right?
Yeah.
They're in the process of doing some serious stuff right now, and they don't want to lose control of their situation. They want to go and do what they want to do. Us be damned. And
it's too bad they've lost control.
What about you, Preston? Do you feel like you're being followed since connecting with Dolly, the beautiful Dolly, and you have such amazing energy, Dolly. I just have to say that. But like, do you feel like you're being watched and
yeah.
things are missing?
Yeah.
Have you noticed anything missing from your place?
No, I can't
You're
say that.
taking in a lot of stories. You're taking in not stories. I have to say experiences. Sorry, stories is a terrible word for that. But you're collecting experiences and sharing them with the world. I mean, they must be watching.
Yeah, for sure. I think that all UFO researchers know this. I mean, we found this out. The government, secret government, I'll call them, is watching over UFO researchers and experiencers very closely. And I have had, some problems with mail and email and phones and so forth. But I'm very open with my research. I mean, if you really want to know something, just ask.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to hide. And I don't think these guys are going to get away with it. You cannot hide the truth. You cannot control this situation. They think they're in control. They're not.
Not really. We all, like I said, we're all autonomous. If you're waking up, you're going to hear the truth regardless of what they try to do to you. Okay. And it's up to you from that moment on how you're going to go with it. And there are plenty of people who know the truth. Trust me, if you hear the word prepper, that these are people who absolutely understand what's going on and they have prepared. Okay. They want to be around. And it's just the way it is. One of the things that my father did when I was growing up is he worked for the government, and my father was an architect, and he actually helped design and build a lot of the underground facilities that we're talking about. I know a lot about them. And one of the most famous engineers at NASA, Cooper, actually, my dad and him, they wanted to see how they were going to work together, and Disney World was being built, and my dad and B.D. Cooper designed the entire underground at Disney World together. And then when they found out they were going to do good together, they went on further from there. It is a convoluted, exhausting amount of what's the word I'm looking for? Nobody knowing what's going on, but plenty of people knowing what's going on. And the amount of disinformation and hanky-panky and all the stupid stuff that they got going on, it's like, and they're out of control with it now. I mean, they're off the dial, and they're starting stuff all around us. And I mean, look at COVID. This is not a joke. This was designed to mess with us, okay? And then ain't over yet. And it's just sad to me that this is happening, that they feel free to treat us like this. It's not right. And all I got to say is they may be happy now and they may think they got control now, but they're going to wake up to a very bad day someday, and it's like, we're all just going to move on. And
I think
ET wants to rescue as many people as they can. They are going to, they know who they're going to take. Trust me. Okay. And it's a lot of people, a lot. One of the things that's going down with them right now is, you're going to see more government stuff in the skies than you are ET. They cannot handle an EMP like that either, okay? They operate electromagnetically, okay? And if you have one flare like that, it'll take them out just like everything else. And they've been bugging out. They've been picking up thousands and thousands and thousands of their people off the ground who've been here among you all your life, okay? They're getting ready for this, and trust me, it's going to happen. When it does happen, the plan is, and the government can eat my grits, okay? Once it happens, everybody's going to lose communication with one another. You're going to be isolated, and that's when they're going to show up en masse. They're going to land on every strip in the planet. They're going to come down on every airport. They're going to come down on every road big enough to land, and they're going to open the doors, and they're going to tell the ones that they're taking, let's go. One of the reasons there are so many hybrids is that we're trained to go get them. We're trained to help them understand that it's okay to get on the damn craft so we can get the hell out of here. Because we got more than just a CME coming at us, way more. It's not over after that.
I'm just waiting for Joe to put up some of your photos. Bam, there we go. Look at that. That was
great.
quick. So maybe you can explain just as I go along what everything is.
Okay.
Take your pic, Joe. You just will let you go with that.
Joe.
Put one up. What do you want?
He's working on it. I can hear him.
He had some surgery today, so he's a little part
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So, I know he's a champion. We love him. So
it's okay. He'll get. Sorry.
We'll get there. No, not yet. Too soon? I don't know. So
yeah, I have some pictures. Okay, I'm going to give you a hint on. Okay, which one is this? Okay,
there we go.
That's a 2-seater incoming. Okay, coming to visit me. This is a transport craft. This is the size that comes and gets me to take me to a bigger craft. And they come in very fast. They pull you out very fast, and they haul butt. They do not want to get caught. I live in a very high traffic area for the government. The U.S. Space Force is in my backyard, and so he's booking. You see plasma all around him. He does not go to battery. He comes in on plasma and pulls me out in a transport beam. And then we run like hell because they don't want to get caught.
Your essence or your physical?
No, my physical body is being transported.
Okay, I just want to be clear on that because I know people are thinking, "How does she mean?"
How did she get through there?
They wouldn't send a shit. They wouldn't send a craft to get me if they were just going to yank my spirit out.
Yeah, because you know how some people are just lifted up through the floors or through their houses.
Right. There, he's gearing up. He's actually lighting up. The engines are now booking, and you can see the light, and he's going to turn bright white in about 5 seconds after that picture, and he's power up at that moment.
Okay,
and he's getting ready to go.
Do the next one. Oh, that's interesting.
I'll tell you a secret about the colors that you see. The orange is red. That's a drone. Got hundreds of thousands of drones. It's the size of a Tic Tac. It is a Tic Tac, what the government calls a Tic Tac. You're looking at a Tic Tac, but it's a drone. It is totally unmanned.
So why do they send
AI
drones?
all the way? Because it's AI. In other words, it's here to make measurements of all kinds of stuff. It's an observer. It's watching the planet. It's taking measurements of, different things that are going on with our planet right now. And they drop them like crazy.
Okay.
So when you say drone, you mean ET drone, right?
Yes, it's an ET drone, yeah. And they are Tic Tac.
Okay.
You will call it Tic Tac. Yeah.
It's like if that's a government drone, my baseball bat's coming out.
No.
Just saying.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a drone.
Literally a tick. Wow, that's tiny. You wouldn't even catch it.
Next.
Yeah.
Yep. Dolly's got evidence to back up her story.
Yes, I've seen some of it. Absolutely.
I can't wait to
my
read
house.
this book.
She remote viewed my living room.
Okay, this is Talata. Okay. Backstory. You remember the Turkish UFO they caught? That really crazy looking ship?
Yes.
That's it right there, and that's over Laughlin, Nevada, and that is Talata. That is my contact. I named him when I was about 15. I can't pronounce his real name. He's ancient. He's an interdimensional being. He's disembodied, okay? That's why he was able to go into that ship the way he did. He can actually transfer, okay? And that's Talata. And he was coming down, and he was going to do a flyby for me. So he's getting ready to do a small power-up and then zoom over my head. He would not let me catch him coming all the way down. Poor Yvonne had a heart attack. He was also dropping drones that night, and so he'll turn my camera off at certain points because he doesn't want me to get too close. But that's him. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
It was very cool of him.
Next, please. Next.
Some of them are films, I think, that I sent you.
I think I have a film. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another 2-seater. You went back to that one.
Okay. So if we have the video, that would be great. Joe, I know I sent the one video. Try and take it easy on him. I know it was at the par tonight.
I'm so sorry. I know. I feel bad.
No. It's okay. It's okay. He's good. He's a champ. I'll wait on that.
Yeah, one of the things you said to me earlier today was, if I send these to you, he's going to keep them. And I was like,
I know you will.
I share. I've got the originals. I'm not worried about it.
That's what it's about. That's what
it's supposed to share this stuff.
Pass it on.
Just trying to maximize it. You know what?
Poor Joe.
Do you remember the video?
Is he on painkillers? Poor guy.
I was thinking that. He's probably happy right now.
I know.
No, he wouldn't have been able to function. He wouldn't have been able to function on the computer. But yeah,
he'll go in and grab it. So it's interesting. So we have a lot to. Wait a minute. There we are. Okay. So
yay.
I'm not sure if we'll be able to hear it. Can we hear it?
Turn the sound up on it. This is. Hold on.
Oh, there it is.
Here it
It's
is.
at the top.
Yeah, that's Talara moving on. You can probably hear me out talking in this.
Wow.
Oh, this is a drone drop. He's dropping a drone for me. He's letting everybody see a drone drop. That's an energy extractor. In other words, they drop the drone in an energy field. And it's cloaked so you can't see it. Okay? And it goes into the dark.
Wow.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
As I'm being told, there's a lot of air traffic over the house tonight. That does not just normally
I'm not
happen.
surprised. Right.
Just so you know, that does not happen very often.
Yeah.
Unless something's swung by, so to speak.
Yeah. And this is, I don't know, what are you doing here? What is that? Oh, there it is. Okay. I don't know if you can get the sound to go. You can hear me talking to them. They speak a language and it's ancient, and I know, I'm not going to tell you I'm fluent in it, but I will tell you I know some of the language. Okay. And that's the drone drop right there again.
That's interesting for sure.
He's really showing it.
Wow. So if you're just listening and you're not watching it, you need to get to YouTube so that you can see this.
If you go to Dolly Safran on YouTube, all my videos, a lot of my videos are there. Okay. A lot of my captures.
Because there's people that are listening that are not watching, and they're probably wondering, well, why did it just go silent? And I'm like, wait a second, we're so enthralled by your captures that we forgot for a minute that we are on air as well.
Yeah, I'll teach everybody one word. You ready? It means I'm ready, and it's atriar. That's how you say it, atriar.
Wow. I'll never remember it, but I'll have to go back to listen to
will.
They roll their R's.
I'll be calling Dolly's thing. What was that word again? Yeah. What was that?
Means I'm ready.
Okay. I was going to put it up.
I love the rolling R's, like the European languages.
Yeah. Well, it's all connected.
Yep. There he is.
Everybody learn to talk from them. Think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is probably him just hanging out. He's getting ready to do a flyby. That's a short one because I had a hard. He turns my camera. He'll only let me last so long with the camera, and then he'll shut me down. Oh, that's more the drone.
Wow. So right now we're watching evidence of Dolly Safran's experiences and her contacts with, I won't say UFOs because they're not to you. They're family and
not
friends.
identified.
Yeah. They are identified. So it's a different story. So if you're tuning in now, you're listening, you're going to want to see the video. It's not letting him have the audio. Okay. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep. There he is. He's dropping drones. It's one of the guys.
We had the audio.
Yeah, that
was me talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fascinating. Thank you for sharing that.
It's definitely interesting. I mean, you've shared some with me along the way. It just seems to go on and on and on. You know, I think it's great that you post them because, you know, you are being followed and you just direct them to your YouTube channel like everybody else. You know,
I'll tell you a secret. I drive Preston crazy because when he's taping me for his book, I don't speak in the right syntax because when I'm talking about being with them, I talk with them like I'll say us and them, and he doesn't understand who I'm accusing of what. Okay. It's like ET is us to me. Us, right. We're ET. Okay. And then I'll say them that's here. Okay. And it drives him nuts. He has a hard time with me. He's like, which one are you talking about? You know, I'm like, oh.
But it's true. It is family, right?
Definitely.
It is family.
Yeah, many experiencers will say that. They feel very close to their contacts. friends, family. I hear it all the time.
Mhm.
Particularly
Beautiful.
people who've gone, far with their experiences. It can start out scary for a lot of
You get over it
people.
real fast, right?
I think it's about understanding, right? Having an
Yes.
understanding of who
Understanding
they
what's
are.
really happening, right? If you're going to go to the doctor and you got to have your appendix come out, you're going to expect a whole bunch of weird things happening to you. And if you have
Mhm.
no clue what's about to happen to you, it's terrifying. Okay, but you
Mhm.
have loving people around you who guide you through it and explain this is going to happen, that's going to happen, it's going to be okay, you're going to be fine, you'll be all right. Okay, don't be afraid. We're not
I
here to
think
hurt
it's the
you.
whole lurking
You know?
thing. They're coming around at night. You're in your safe, where you deem to be your
Right.
safe zone. It's your boudoir.
Right.
It's your bedroom. You
Yeah.
should be able to lay there in peace. Instead, you've got this little bubble-headed guy going here.
Dude.
Like it's a little bit unnerving.
I want you all to promise me, everybody in the sound of my voice, please take this advice, okay? If you wake up and you got 3 little ETs or 2 of them standing there looking at you, start the conversation right there. Don't be afraid. Say, hey, hi, say hi. They will talk right to you. They will go, oh, they're going to talk to us, okay? Things aren't going to be thrown. Feet aren't going to come out of nowhere and kick the crap out of them. I mean, they're going to be like, whoa, I'll talk to you, no problem. Hell, they'll pet you. Are you kidding? They will give you anything you want.
I've actually
Seriously.
popped off and said, it's slumber time. It's like, no,
Yeah.
no. No, it is. It's freaky.
I know. Yeah,
It's
people
freaky.
decide whether they want to communicate with them or not. And
Well, just some nights you're just like,
yeah.
oh my God, really?
Yeah. I know.
Remember, they're talking to your whole self. So sometimes when people are like, "Oh no, I didn't ask for this," on some level you did.
Yeah, you did. You accepted them. You've been in contact with them for a long time. You're just compartmentalizing it and not realizing that it's happening over and over and over again.
Well, the memories come back, I find.
Yes.
Like the childhood memories come back when you start moving forward with the adult stuff, right?
Right. Yeah. You want to know what else they do, and it's really funny to me. They will leave you pieces of nature that will suddenly appear in your room or your house. Like you'll find a twig or a stick or a flower.
Feathers.
How the hell did that get in my house?
Yeah,
what? Say again? Feathers. Yeah.
Feathers. We've been telling people feathers are from heaven.
Found one in the house just 2 days ago.
Yeah, they'll leave you
floor.
geodes, they'll leave you quartz, they'll leave you crystals. I mean, they'll do all kinds of things. They will gift you with things, just show you they care about you. It's like a little hey,
Yeah.
I had a fascination with marbles when I was growing up, and I didn't know why. And it's because I always wondered how I got all my marbles. And my mom said, "Where are you getting these marbles? Who's giving them to you?" I'm like, okay. I think I know, and I couldn't tell her who it was, but I got all kinds of beautiful marbles from them. I had a big bag of them that disappeared one day. My mom disappeared them, but
Marbles look like small planets, right? They look like small planets. They're beautiful.
Something like that. They hold energy. I mean, if they're real crystal or glass holds energy too.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we're down to the last probably few minutes of the show. So this is the time where you're supposed to let everybody know how to find you or what you guys have coming up, or if you want people to communicate with you with their stories, photos, anything like that. So go, whoever wants to go first.
I'll let Preston. He calls the ball.
No, that's nice.
All right. Well, yeah, I will say I'm super blessed to have Dolly as. Well, she's my best friend, actually, and I love her deeply. And we're working on her life story, her story of contact. It's unlike any I've ever heard. It's so really cool. Is. So that'll be our next book.
Yes.
And super excited about it.
Sounds exciting.
Yep.
It does.
Yeah.
And so anybody, Preston, if they have stories for you, photos to share, where do they send them?
Oh yeah, I mean I'm.
I do that.
That's right. I do have a website. I'm on Facebook, Twitter. I'm all over the place. You can find my books on Amazon. And if you have a question or a story or a comment, I'm always love hearing from people. You can contact me through my website. And Yeah, Dolly's for real. She proved it to me in numerous ways over and over. She's telling the truth. I mean, she appeared in my room as an apparition.
Yeah.
So I know. I mean,
Only after you appeared
That's
mine,
not
okay?
creepy, weird.
I did it to her too. So
Yeah, he did it
third way.
first, okay? That's all right. I because I'm a psychic and I see energy, I see everything. You know, we're all connected. Spirits are connected to that. ETC spirits as well. ET is a spirit as well. You know, we're all in source together. We're all one. We are literally all one. All information, everything is connected. Never doubt that for a minute. And so I do medium work sometimes for people. They'll call me and say, please help me, and I'll help them. It's best I can, you know? So the first time he came and showed up, somebody called me at 2:30 in the morning. I was in an Airbnb because our house got hit by Hurricane Michael and we were rebuilding at the time.
Oh.
And I turned around and I saw him. I went, oh my God, Preston. And I'm like, I got a guy on the phone and he's freaking out, you know, and he's like, I can't talk to you. It's Robert, you know, and he thought I said I'm being robbed.
Oh.
And I called him the next morning and said, well, you showed up. Oh my God. And he's like, what did you say to me? And I said, I'm talking to Robert. I can't talk to you. And he's like, oh my God, I thought you were being robbed. And then I decided, you know, he showed up out of the middle of nowhere. No, let me know. Nothing. So I paid him back. Space.
Oh,
Showed up.
It's a little intrusive.
Yeah. And if you don't listen to me, I'll stomp his floor so he hears it, okay? I'll really let him have it. Yeah.
Well, I think you guys are adorable. Just putting that out there. So, well, thank you for choosing our show to debut your story. I'm thrilled that you did it. It's been an incredible journey. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot more interesting of a journey now that you're out of the closet, so to speak, and Preston better have his pen handy because I have a feeling the experiences are just going to grow and evolve. They seem to just keep evolving, and I think it's just going to snowball from this point on now that it's out there.
So.
Are you ready, Preston?
Absolutely.
I'm ready. Yep. I sure am. I think so.
I can tell not so much. It's like, I don't know. Let's wait and see. I love you guys. Oh, you're amazing.
I love you too. I'll tell you one last thing, okay, before I say goodbye. As ET taught me who Preston was, they also led me to you, just so you know. Okay, you were on the agenda list, and they know who you are. They watch you, absolutely watch you, and they're happy for me to know you and you to know me.
Yeah, oh, well, those are two. Thank you, Dolly. I think you're out of the closet whether you like it or not, Michelle. Thanks.
It's done now.
All right. Shh, don't be listening to everything Dolly says. Okay, my friends. I love you both. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'll see you online. All right, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Night. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye now. Well, that was amazing, people. Wow, what can I say? But we have come to another end of another fantastic segment, and I am in awe. And I think it's taken a lot of courage for Dolly to come out. And I think when you have a bestie like Preston by your side, going to make it happen, and it's going to be a nice, smooth transition. So thank you all for tuning in. Huge thank you to everybody who was in chat tonight. You make this show that much more interesting with your questions and comments. Big thank you to our amazing guests, Dolly Safran and Preston Dennett. Joe Montaldo, who is the best producer on the planet after having surgery, still a champ and a trooper, making things happen behind the scenes. The biggest thank you, of course, goes to Folgers Coffee for sponsoring us and having the faith in us to keep sponsoring us. So please remember to stop by the UFO Paranormal Radio, YouTube, International Public Radio, also UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials. Please subscribe. Head on over to the Outer Realm on Facebook and show us some love. If you'd like to communicate with us, please, the Outer Realm Contact at gmail.com. That's the Outer Realm Contact at gmail.com. Tomorrow night, 2 more amazing guests, and they're also repeat guests, Dr. Kathleen Ann Ball and Mr. Sean Williamson. And they're going to be touching on their collaboration of Templar research, focusing on symbols and esoteric backgrounds, which that's right up many people's alley, but certainly mine. So until tomorrow, we bid you a good night and thank you for tuning in.